Hello and welcome to Senator Shope's Snapshot of the Week. We can call this one the Snapshot of the Session, as I'll be giving you the big picture of what happened this year at the legislature. Before I start, I want to thank all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle for working together on many of these bills so we could accomplish some really good things for Arizona. A huge thank you also goes out to our staff working tirelessly to make sure everything ran smoothly this year. Last but not least, I want to give a shout out to the stakeholders, members of the public, and many others who came to the Capitol to share their expertise, experiences, and thoughts on the legislation that we are trying to pass. Together, we accomplished a lot this session. Now, let's get to talking about the budget, water, and a handful of the bills I sponsored. After months of negotiation between the Senate, the House, and the governor's office, we've created and approved a historic, bipartisan, and balanced budget for fiscal year 2023. With huge investments on items that have a major impact in all our communities, such as K-12 schools and higher education, border security, law enforcement, election integrity, roads, infrastructure, mental health, and homelessness. Our spending plan of $18.1 billion will go a long way in further strengthening our state's economy while continuing to reinforce Arizona's positioning as one of the best places in the nation to live, work, play, and start a business and raise a family. The budget includes the following investments. On water, more than $1 billion over the next 3 years for water augmentation projects, grants, needs assessment, and conservation. The K-12 schools is $1.4 billion in new funding from fiscal year 2023 to 2025 for increasing base level student spending, special education support, textbooks, computers, other equipment for school districts and charter schools, as well as resource officers, school repairs, school improvement programming, and so much more. On border security, how about $564 million for fencing, technology, an emergency operations center, law enforcement, National Guard, prosecutions, human trafficking programs, and more. Speaking of law enforcement, we had $307 million in new operational investments for the Department of Public Safety as well as the Department of Corrections, including a 20% raise for correctional officers and staff, and a 15% raise for state troopers and staff, new vehicles, helicopters, civil air patrol infrastructure, and equipment. Transportation. We have more than $1 billion in state highway projects, including $400 million for the expansion of I-10 between Chandler and Casa Grande. On tax cuts, we cut $336 million in ongoing tax cuts, including eliminating the state equalization tax rate, which homeowners will benefit from. And no, it will not impact K-12 funding. We also paid $1.3 billion in debt to pay unfunded liability in state public safety retirement plans, state building debt, and the K-12 rollover for school districts, which combined will save the state $100 million plus per year in ongoing expenses. In election security, we dedicated $18.5 million over the next 3 years, and those funds will go to secure ballot paper for counties, ballot box pilot programs, and additional staff to clean up voter rolls. Homelessness, we had $75 million for housing and homeless-related services, and we know that's been an issue recently. With healthcare, we added $398 million in new health investments, including long-term provider raises, expansion of nursing programs at community colleges like Central Arizona College, and universities to address the nursing shortage, and construction of secure behavioral health residential facilities to treat those with serious mental illness. Let's take a deeper dive, if you will, into our water legislation. Just this week, I attended the signing ceremony of the historic Senate Bill 1740. This monumental bill had overwhelming support on a bipartisan basis. Senate Bill 1740 greatly enhances the Water Infrastructure Financing Authority, or WIFA, which will be responsible for managing $1 billion in appropriations to address the water issues our state is currently facing. Arizona has once again demonstrated that it is the most proactive lower Colorado River Basin state, ready to address water concerns and serve as a model for Arizona's water neighbors as well as the federal government. This bill contains strong guiding principles and a purpose statement that will help to create a focused vision for fiscally responsible implementation. As our state faces challenges, relying on a status quo regarding the drought is no longer an option. The enhancement of WIFA enables Arizona to take a proactive approach to water management rather than relying only on the federal government to shape our future. And it keeps Arizona innovative, enterprising, and resourceful. Despite having a population that is more than 7 times larger than it was in 1957, Arizona consumes less water today than it did back then. The Central Arizona Project, the 1980 Groundwater Act, and the more recent Drought Contingency Plan and the new 500+ plan are just a few examples of how Arizonans have worked together across party lines to address current water concerns. I'm so honored to have been able to vote yes on this legislation. Next, let's discuss some of my bills that have been signed into law by Governor Ducey this session. Senate Bill 1239 is a bill that I'm probably most proud of, as it took so much hard work, 10 years in fact, to get this over the finish line. The bill appropriates $400 million from the State General Fund to build a third lane on each direction of Interstate 10 between Phoenix and Casa Grande. I want to thank Governor Ducey, Governor Lewis of the Gila River Indian community specifically, as well as Mayors Craig McFarland of Casa Grande and Kevin Hartke of Chandler for all working together to make this funding a reality. SB 1300, the Tribal Dual Enrollment Program, allows a tribal college dual enrollment program to offer courses through high schools located outside the reservation. This adds books and instructional materials to the costs compensated by the Tribal College Dual Enrollment Program fund dollars. And of course is very important in our legislative district. Senate Bill 1396, the Hydrogen Study Committee, is a bill to create a legislative hydrogen committee that will investigate, review existing laws and regulations and recommend legislation pertaining to hydrogen production, distribution, and storage. Hydrogen has traditionally been used in petroleum refinement, metal treatment, fertilizer production, and food processing, but it is increasingly being used as an alternative fuel source, and we're seeing it firsthand in our legislative district with the opening of Nikola Motors in my hometown of Coolidge. Senate Bill 1564 is the On-Farm Irrigation Efficiency Fund. It establishes the On-Farm Irrigation Efficiency Pilot Program and Fund to be administered by the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension. Think of this project and its collaboration with the U of A as the next step in irrigation, whether it be drip or other forms. As we know, agriculture is around a $1.5 billion part of Pinal County's economy, so we will continue to find solutions to farm and ranch as efficiently as possible. SB 1598 is the Information Technology and Security Office, and it strengthens Arizona's operational success by housing the state cybersecurity authority under the Arizona Department of Homeland Security. Cybersecurity is Homeland Security, and this bill will enhance the state's ability to prevent and respond to types of cyber attacks, the types that we're seeing way too much of these days. Lastly, I want to once again thank our staff who puts a snapshot together each week for their work, as well as the staff who help with every other aspect of this job as a state senator. If there's one thing that all of you at home should know, it's that we all do our best to serve you on a daily basis and are proud to work so hard to do so. Thank you all for following along this session and for tuning in each week. Going forward, until next session, I'll be probably providing updates every other week on the news from the Capitol. Take care, and I'll see you soon on another Senator Shope's Snapshot of the Week.